Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Now of course we have a massive announcement from Mr. Simon Hypixel himself, and this is a really good insight into the future of Hytale. And it's funny because I literally just did my video yesterday where I sort of talked about how Hytale's future is misunderstood, and yeah, it was really good to see your guys' comments and everything like that. And it's just as like Simon's watched that and he just like said, right, I'm gonna put this announcement out. I'm not saying he did, but it is very interesting. And of course we have a new blog post. This is the first time we've had a new blog post in ages, way before launch, so I'm really looking forward to showing you guys that. And if you enjoy the video, of course if you enjoy, drop a like and subscribe, and we're getting straight in with the announcement. Okay, so Simon goes on to say, as we keep weekly updates rolling in early access for Hytale, we're also working in parallel on larger content updates. I did actually mention this in yesterday's video. And they're going to be delivered as chapters that will slowly unfold the Cursebreaker story arc. When it reaches the final chapter, Orbis will be within reach and the game will be fully released. So this kind of looks like, you know, the updates of Hytale are going to be released in chapters, and once it hits its final early access chapter, the game will be fully released. Now, of course, that doesn't sort of tell us anything about when the game's going to be fully released. It's probably going to be a long time, right? But I don't know if each of these larger content updates are going to... Well, I think it does mean they're all going to be chapters, right? But I just don't know how long they're going to be until they release. He says, if you've been playing the exploration mode, you've probably noticed that the curse is quiet at the moment. That will change as the first chapter begins, and you'll need to make difficult choices that carry lasting consequences for the world around you and yourself. I like the idea about that. That sounds cool. Keep in mind, we're not going deep on narrative for early access. However, the Cursebreaker arc is how you'll see the game progress chapter by chapter, and it's a journey we share with the community, and when it's done, it becomes a memory for those who were there. So if you're playing Hytale now in early access, and you're going to be a part of the chapters, like, the game is going to kind of mold around you. Hytale has a lot of potential, and that's a responsibility we don't take lightly. We're bringing in the right people, and we can finally focus just on making a great game. Not funding concerns, fully independent. All that's left to work is to work hard, have fun, and keep engaging with our amazing community. So I wanted to highlight two very important points from this here. No funding concerns, fully independent, a true forever project. And I think, again, I've mentioned this so many times, this is why I'm doing this channel. Like, you know, whether Hytale is popular, whether, you know, like anything like that, I just love supporting this project because that's what we love. You know, we love that it's always going to be a project that is a passion project, and it means that the community are going to be listened to a lot more than if it was kind of, you know, under these larger corporations. And this person says, does that mean after the final chapter that the last update will be the last update for the game, or will the game still get updates? I mean, you know, I'm sure there's going to be some troll responses to that, but I just did want to mention that yes, no, the game will still be constantly updated. Simon, as I've mentioned before, has said there's at least 2 years of that of development that's been covered by pre-releases, on top of 10 years of Simon's own personal commitment to the game of development. So yeah, that's amazing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's in store, what's coming in the future. And obviously when the game finally releases, we can look back on all the different chapters, and then, you know, who knows what a game's going to be like in the future, right? Like, I have followed so many games, Ark being one of the main ones, and you see how they develop and change over time. And yes, as we sit here right now, Hytale won't be completely the same. And in the past, people are going to be talking about nostalgia about how Hytale used to be. And that's the way the world works, you know? It's like we need to enjoy the moment we're currently in, because in the future, of course, we're looking forward to the new stuff. But when you look back, I see people do it with Fortnite a lot. You know, bring back OG Fortnite. We want to just remember the good times that we are having now. So Simon mentioned we're planning to hire NPC tech designers in the coming months. If this interests you, now is a great time to start learning. And on the official Hytale page, they said in today's blog, we cover Hytale's NPC framework, diving into its current state, how it looks, and where we want to take it. Documentation, tutorials, and more. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with, I mean, there might be some of you guys that find, you know, that these real details important, but I just want to basically give you guys where they are, what they're going to be doing in the future, and try to not make this video boring. If you do enjoy this kind of thing, I will leave a link to this blog post in the description down below. So hello everyone, this post is going to briefly cover some topics related to Hytale's NPC framework, its current state and how it looks and where we want to take it. Some of the content might be a bit more technical, so feel free to skip like I just said, or skim through parts that don't interest you. There's a lot to cover when it comes to NPC related systems, so don't expect this one post to be exhaustive. So I think I want to focus on the real important parts, where we are right now as a Hytale community. So as it stands, the NPC framework supports a wide variety of behaviors across multiple systems, all of which are configurable using data-driven assets. You don't need to know any programming languages to be able to set them up. Even our most complex NPCs are almost entirely data-driven. We achieve this through a number of different behavior related systems, but the two we'll cover in this post are roles, the heart of our NPCs, and the combat action evaluator. So documentation and tutorials. So if you want to learn more about NPCs, our friends at the Hytale Modding have a lot of great documentation already available, and you can get, they've done a, oh that's pretty cool, there's a tutorial they made with 6-part video series, and this is amazing, right? Teaching people free of charge, by the way, because when you normally want to learn a skill, a lot of people put together these schools, and I don't think there's anything wrong with monetizing your skill. Like if you want to make your own school and teach people how to do things and they got to pay to get on board or whatever, you know, that I don't think there's a problem with that. But the fact that they're doing this free is amazing, right? They're not doing some sort of school. They're wanting people just to go out there, learn, taking time to put together these tutorials for people, and I think that's amazing. So in this section, they're sort of talking about how every NPC has a role in the game and how it is expressed. And this comes into so many different kind of points, you know, what items an NPC has, what actions an NPC does in the game, and they talk about the behavior trees in the game and how they do it. And I thought what was really funny when they were going on about the roles and talking about it is they said, and it goes from being fond of you to attacking you, and it's like sheep love and then sheep attack. But then this just made me laugh. Look at this. They just got like a bunch of sheep with guns and swords and stuff, and I mean this would be an interesting update, wouldn't it? Like imagine that. They said with some basic templates we created, you can also give a random weapon and you are ready for Die Hard sheep mod. This one is the combat action evaluator. So again, this is, they say, through instruction lists already give designers a great deal of flexibility to configure their NPCs and implement combat behaviors. Crafting a character that does more than just a few basic attacks and needs to make some sort of decision about when to use certain attacks quickly becomes cumbersome. And I think that's what is very important in a game like Hytale, right? So in Minecraft, you've always had the zombies that go, man, just come over to you, right, and just attack you, and skeletons go make skeleton noises, right, with their bone noises, and shoot a bow and arrow at you, and, you know, the same with spiders. They come, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do the Minecraft spider noise, what is that? But you know what I mean, and then they, you know, they can climb up walls and trees and stuff and attack you and whatnot. And I think what Hytale are looking to do and how they're evolving their game is, it's not just about something coming over to you and hitting you with a sword or shooting you with a bow. It's the fact about how they want NPCs to maybe do a flip in the air and fire a magic ball at you. I don't know, you know, like the future of Hytale when it comes to combat and NPCs is, I think they want to just make it feel different and a bit more immersive, and not just that kind of, you know, attack with a hit or something like that. Making it a little bit more harder to actually fight your NPCs and what you have to take on in the game. And I think that's really cool. And look, this is like charge and summon for a skeleton in the game. And they give a kind of example of that, and that's what I like, right? I really enjoy. I've spent years of my life, you know, I started playing Minecraft at 11 years old. I'm 10 or 11 years old. I'm now 26, so, you know, 15 to 16 years later, I've had enough of that simple NPC. You know, building blocks up and firing bows at them. Like, you know, that is how we've all kind of grown up in the block genre. So here is a bit of a reality check. So they said that all of everything we talked about sounds pretty far along, right? And maybe you could even believe it was shippable. Well, no, and there's still on many rough edges, missing features and areas in need of vast improvement. Just as we talked about what the systems can do, it's important to talk about where there are some major areas where they're not quite there yet. And with great power comes the need for great tooling, responsibility, and we're very far off the mark here. There are plans for visual editing and debugging, but right now most NPC configuration is done directly in the JSON files using text editors, and it's workable but painful. And though we provide a variety of avenues for debugging NPCs when they don't work as expected, none of them are intuitive, and most require reading through pages upon pages of detailed log files. We mentioned the learning curve associated with the combat action evaluator, but that applies pretty much everywhere when it comes to working with NPCs as well. We envision an easier and smoother onboarding into NPC modding, but at this stage we can only offer a limited number of templates as examples, along with documentation on available elements and simple tutorials. There are plenty of major missing features as well. NPCs don't position themselves very well in combat, and they don't use proper avoidance or flocking, while flying NPCs can land and take off. Swimming NPCs can't leave the water and vice versa. There's no end to the list of features we still need to be able to add and be able to deliver to the game they envision. Naturally, the potential for performance issues abounds. We can support a relatively large number of NPCs, but there's much work to be done in making them more performant, particularly when it comes to pathfinding. We keep the pathfinder off as much as we can, otherwise performance is likely to tank. And they say, and then there's all the technical debt that needs to be solved, from NPCs not being able to deliberately break blocks outside of projectile-based explosions due to certain non-NPC system constraints that needs to be revised, and they can place them though, to NPC physics needing to be completely reworked to unify properly with player systems, and there's a long road ahead to get things into proper shape, and we didn't even talk about spawning. So, I mean, they say many community members have pointed out a plethora of bugs that cropped up in released gameplay footage, and with our current development pace, much of that footage is already outdated, and most of the critical of those bugs have already been fixed. However, I do specifically want to take a moment to talk a bit about pathfinding, its challenges, and what this is likely means for release. So pathfinding is a large and complex topic, complex enough that many regular games struggle with it. Ark has always, you know, had issues with dinos, like, just like, they'll be attacking you. I mean, who played Ark, right? When you're watching this, if you're watching this video right now, and you start getting chased by a massive dino, and it gets caught on a rock, and that's it just keeps running into the rock. When you add a procedural, fully moddable block-based world to the mix, this becomes even more complex, since we can no longer rely on the many tricks games use to optimize performance known as terrain. This means our pathfinding is currently slow. Not so slow that it causes any noticeable performance issues, but slow enough that we don't currently allow all NPCs to be using it at all times, and put severe restrictions on its current compatibilities. This is why, for example, cave raptors don't jump across gaps to chase after the player. We can't pre-populate the world with jump points because the world could change at any time, and each block of additional distance an NPC can jump over a gap is a large additional cost for every search. We don't expect this change in time for the early access release, but we're committed to improving our pathfinding as a whole, and have already begun work on developing a new method that could solve most of these issues to prove viable. So what is next? And this is obviously always an important thing for a lot of players. So tooling is high up on our priority list, and if we want to support modders properly, we need to give them the tools they need to make creating NPCs fun. This won't include a full suite of debugging tools at first, but we'll pull together what we can. We also need to address the issues with pathfinding and movement while dealing with technical depth to ensure that we're not creating performance bottlenecks when players face off against NPCs in complex environments. There's a lot we can improve on here to make sure that the combats feels enjoyable and even this early stage. Adding more templates will also help to liven up the world a bit more, with bespoke behaviours introducing life to the cultures of Orbis, many different species, these are also intended to serve as a further inspiration and examples for modders seeking to create their own more complex NPCs, or can be used directly if the behaviour fits. All of this leads towards the potential for creating proper bosses, encounters that will push our PvE systems to their absolute limits, and there's also a lot of work required to reach this point, far more that has been listed here, but we're laying it out step by step and working our way through it. With a bit more time, we will make it all work. So then they go on to talk about sort of debug commands and everything within the game, and you know, that kind of thing. So if you are interested in that, of course, I will leave the link in the description down below. But I thought it was just a very interesting thing to share with you guys on the NPC side of things and what they're planning to do in the future of this moving forward, all the way towards full release, which of course Mr. Simon Hytale, I keep saying that, Simon Hypixel himself, has mentioned we're going to be working in chapters to get to that full release. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, of course, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like, that would really support me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.